full attempt to become women's tag team champions, Lyra would snap and take out her supposed friend. This angle was masterfully done, and this could be the strongest rivalry of 2026 if booked correctly. Number 3, Gable apologizes. Chad Gable delivered a heartfelt promo on Raw where he apologized to the Alpha Academy, but just when it looked like Otis was going to forgive him, Maxine Dupree intervened and she stated that she doesn't forgive him for the way he conducted himself over the past few years. Now, this segment was fantastic and once again gives gravity to continuity and lore of characters on television. A new champ's crowned, and we have new tag team champions as the Street Profits defeated the Vision in the main event of Raw. Hopefully this means that WWE are going to commit to booking the tag division much better, and it's currently on life support and needs all the help it can get. That was a good what about the bad is number 1, end the Vision. Now it's time to end the Vision stable. On Raw last night, before the main event, all 3 took part in a backstage segment, and Bron Breakker just feels like the odd man out. At the start of the year, Breakker looked to be the favourite to win the Royal Rumble, but now he's so far away from the world title, and the stable is without a doubt holding him back. And number 2, LA Knight's booking. LA Knight is in dire need of a fresh feud. He's once again feuding with the Bloodline in a weird babyface versus babyface story arc, and this is the exact feud we saw in 2023 and 2024 respectively. There are so many names on the roster that LA Knight has never worked with, so it's definitely time for something new. Now, there's nothing downright ugly on this week's edition of Raw. Raw continues to be WWE's A show, and a difference in quality compared to SmackDown is very concerning, as all the effort is going into the red brand, whilst the blue brand just doesn't feel like a must-see product anymore. What do you guys think of the red brand tonight? Let us know in the comments down below. Now let's move on to the news. Now first story looks at Liv Morgan injured. Now top story today looks at new concerns coming out of last night's WWE live event in the UK. Women's World Champion Liv Morgan finally defended the Women's World title last night in the UK, but now there's concern from fans that Morgan could have been injured during the match finish. During the final minute of the match, Sol Ruca landed awkwardly on Morgan's leg, and it looked like a new finish was improvised on the spot. Currently, there have been no updates from Morgan or WWE relating to her status, but this is horrific timing if she is indeed injured, as Morgan is now set to wrestle in the Queen of the Ring finals this weekend at Night of Champions in Saudi Arabia. Liv also had a bit of a thrashing from Charlotte Flair on SmackDown, as she also took to Instagram to show off her battle wounds there. Liv did appear on this week's edition of Monday Night Raw, but she didn't do that much, so it's kind of unclear if her injury is serious. Next up, a WWE champion receives hate. Now, unfortunately, Women's Intercontinental Champion Sol Ruca has been trolled heavily since the Liv Morgan spot last night. In the hours after footage of the spot surfaced on X, Ruca had been forced to private her X account, and she also blacked out her profile picture. Now, hopefully Ruca is doing okay, as we are once again in a situation where fans are taking things way too far. Accidents happen in wrestling all the time, and this is no different. I'm sure Liv Morgan has no ill will towards Sol Ruca. Next up, WWE fans furious after false advertising. Speaking of WWE's recent UK live events, fans aren't happy with WWE's approach for the shows. WWE advertised a ton of huge names for these shows, including WWE Champion Cody Rhodes, Stephanie Vaquer, who's still injured at this moment, CM Punk, who hasn't been seen since shortly after WrestleMania, and Drew McIntyre, who we know has been away. And yet for both shows in the UK this past weekend, most importantly, Cody Rhodes was nowhere to be seen. Fans have been taking to X to complain to WWE about the show they attended, with them pointing out that the tickets were extremely expensive and half of the advertised lineup weren't even in attendance. Some fans would even take to X to question why WWE had merchandise stands for wrestlers that weren't even on the show, and it was stated that most of the wrestlers on the card had no merchandise available. This was a total mess from WWE's side, as although the cards were always subject to change, there wasn't a single male world champion on either show over the weekend. Both shows were main evented by LA Knight vs Bron Breakker, and whilst these two are big stars, this is a Raw match at best, and it's understandable why so many fans were left disappointed. Next up is a controversial name WWE bound. Could Tessa Blanchard be WWE bound? Well, we already know that Blanchard has departed TNA, and according to former WWE star Al Snow while speaking to LTB and H, Snow said that he wouldn't be surprised to see Blanchard land in WWE, especially with WWE now getting deeper into Mexico thanks to owning the AAA promotion.
I will not be a bit surprised to see her at some point in time in WWE.
Yeah, I like her. I've always liked her,
With WWE now putting its tendrils down into Mexico, into AAA, it would make sense that depending on what she does at CMLL and how much of she utilizes that platform to make herself a draw in Mexico, that at some point in time, WWE doesn't go, hey, why don't you come here? We can use you in AAA and here as well, and really capitalize on your talent, and give you worldwide exposure on, like we've talked about, the #1 best platform on the planet to do it.
Blanchard is a rather controversial name in pro wrestling, so it's possible there would be some pushback to her signing for the promotion. Next up is WWE dying. Now, over the past 12 months, criticism of the WWE product has ramped up significantly, with some fans even claiming that TKO is killing WWE thanks to their sheer greed and creative incompetence. Now, former WCW President Eric Bischoff has chimed in on the topic on his podcast. Bischoff outright agreed that WWE's peaked out in terms of fan enthusiasm, and he states that the controversial issues such as the Janelle Grant case is a major factor.
Do I agree with you that we kind of peaked out in terms of enthusiasm, excitement, engagement, all things measurable for last year's WrestleMania? Absolutely. And you look at all the things leading up to it over the couple of years leading up to that, right? Including the controversy in WWE and the Janelle Grant stuff and the TKO stuff and the merger and the acquisition. And there's been a lot of drama, controversy that has created a lot of cash and enthusiasm leading up to last year's WrestleMania. And what has happened since then? Well, things have kind of settled down.
Bischoff would then go on to explain that WWE can't stay at a 10 all year round, and fans who think this ultimately live in a bubble.
You can't stay at a 10 52 weeks a year. If you think you can, you're delusional. You don't know. You don't understand. You're one of those people that live in a room in a bubble that don't really understand anything outside that bubble. Nothing works that way. The music business doesn't work that way. The movie business doesn't work that way.
Whilst Bischoff may be right in the sense that WWE can't produce masterpieces every single week, there's definitely an argument to be made that the product could be vastly improved, especially when it comes to the SmackDown brand, which a lot of fans feel is on life support right now. Next up, Drew McIntyre pulled from an event. Drew McIntyre's absence from WWE appearances now include being removed from upcoming commitments, and it's connected to his growing acting career rather than any behind-the-scenes issues. McIntyre is reportedly stepping away from WWE duties temporarily because he has joined the cast of the upcoming historical action film The Last Druid, which is also starring Russell Crowe. Production is expected to take place in Spain, creating a scheduling conflict with wrestling, and as such he's now been pulled from a Fanatics Fest event. Now, although some fans believe McIntyre could be returning to WWE television soon, reports currently indicate that there's no immediate creative plans for him. McIntyre has definitely shifted his focus over to acting. He's already gained acting experience through projects such as The Killer's Game and the upcoming Highlander movie. Next up, insane WrestleMania plans revealed. We all know that WrestleMania 40 featured a major pivot as Cody Rhodes would end up facing Roman Reigns, and the planned match between Reigns and The Rock was then scrapped. Despite Nick Khan claiming that this was always WWE's plan, this has been debunked by numerous parties, and there's now a new rumor circulating that the original plan was going to have Rhodes miss WrestleMania and he would have been taken out of action with an injury angle. According to Sean Rossap via Fightful Select's Q&A, he hadn't specifically heard that rumor. However, Rhodes did state that fans would have hated the planned direction for his character. I've never specifically heard that. However, when Cody Rhodes and other people spoke to me about the way that this was going, they claimed that the fans would have even been more mad at what the original plans was going to be. That would certainly fit the bill, and I can look more into it. This would have been wild, and the backlash to this would have been astronomical. Next up, Goldberg unhappy with Triple H. Goldberg has never shied away from sharing his negative feelings about the Cerebral Assassin. Even last year, following Goldberg's retirement in WWE, he didn't have too many nice things to say about the game or WWE, but now he's finally revealed a true cause for this hostility. Speaking of going ringside, the WWE Hall of Famer stated that they were both represented by the same agent and they had a tense confrontation prior to him signing with WWE in 2003.
It was different at the time because he and I couldn't stand each other.
Really?
And we were both represented by the same agent. And we had a confrontation prior to me going to the WWE. And then, oh, by the way, he was married to the, Vince McMahon's daughter. So, it was kind of like me walking into an unwinnable situation. But I think business prevailed, and truthfully, at the end of the day, he's a good guy.